Hello everyone, it's Wyatt here, making my second ever video for the TruAnon file series where I document some of the craziest conspiracy style thinking that comes out of the Liberal Party as well as from Liberal Party supporters. And today I want to talk about the Liberal Party's weird obsession with trying to compare Pierre Poilievre to Donald Trump. Now, regardless of what you think about Trump or Poilievre, trying to compare the two men is very strange. They have extremely different personalities. Their policies do not really line up one to one like they kind of do just because any conservative politician will share policies with other conservative politicians. But overall, it's a very strange comparison to make, but it's trying to create this sort of conspiratorial idea that somehow the Republicans in the US and the conservatives in Canada are in league with each other based off stuff like Trump and Poilievre sometimes use the same English words. Basically, because Trump and Poilievre both speak the English language, the Liberals think that they can throw mud at Poilievre and scare Canadians into thinking that Pierre Poilievre is like a mini Trump and that he's going to basically be beholden to the Make America Great Again movement in the US. Anyways, I want to show you some of the clips. Some of them are a little bit older. Some of them were just from yesterday, and they're all completely silly. So this is from, actually, I believe, Patty Haiju from a few weeks ago, trying to say that Trump and Pierre Poilievre are similar because they both use the word crazy.
During question period, I heard in one of the questions from the leader of the opposition his reckless use of the word crazy as a pejorative for one of our cabinet ministers.
Or will he keep his crazy environment minister?
Could be crazy, but he's a crazy man.
Trying to shame Poilievre for using the word crazy in regards to Stephen Guilbeault is not a dog that's going to hunt. Everyone thinks Stephen Guilbeault's nuts. He literally identifies as an open socialist in Parliament. And do they think that Trump literally owns the word crazy? I'm pretty sure the word crazy was not invented in 2016 when Trump ran for president. But whatever, what do I know? I guess that means that's solid evidence. Pierre Poilievre and Trump get on the phone every other day. But here's another video that the Liberal Party put out on its own Twitter account, the official one. This isn't some MP who's trying to take a shot at Poilievre to gain some fame. This is the official Liberal Party Twitter account that put out this video.
We're spending $170 billion for faraway land.
He'd rather spread falsehood about faraway foreign lands, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Small, Mr. Bazan, Mr. Berthold.
Okay, a few things here. One, they didn't even exactly use the same language. They just said faraway foreign lands. They didn't even say it in the same order. But whatever, I guess this means that somehow Poilievre is just transcribing Trump speeches and trying to give them in Parliament. Now, the one thing I want to talk about here that's just factually incorrect is somehow the conservatives are not supportive of Ukraine. The conservatives were supportive of Ukraine when they were originally invaded by Russia back in 2014. Remember in 2014 when Justin Trudeau was making jokes about Ukraine being invaded by Russia and saying, must have been because Ukraine beat Russia in a hockey game at the Olympics. Like, a really crazy thing to say that, like, you would never do that if an ally was invaded. But because Justin Trudeau is a literal child, he couldn't help but make jokes while people were being murdered. But, Trudeau's the tough on Russia guy. Also, just pointing out, Trump also funded Ukraine heavily when he was president to make sure an invasion wouldn't happen. And the Russians only invaded because they assumed that Western leaders like Joe Biden and Trudeau were weak enough they could get away with it. Do you really think that Poilievre was going to not fund Ukraine? I know that the Liberals think that because the Conservatives voted against a couple of Ukrainian measures that they're somehow anti-Ukraine now, or they can at least peddle that. The Conservatives voted against it because the Liberals keep trying to pack the piece of legislation with carbon tax rhetoric in order to try and basically create this lose-lose scenario where if the conservatives vote in favor of it to support Ukraine, then the liberals can say, hey, the conservatives support the carbon tax, but only for Ukraine. What a bunch of hypocrites. But then if they vote against it like they did, then they somehow don't support Ukraine and they want Russia to win. It's completely nuts. But just to cap it all off, because of course he has the craziest take on it. A Liberal MP for Kingston and the Islands, Mark Garretson, comes out with this doozy of a tweet that says the perfect foreshadowing of what's to come. After weeks of Conservative MPs swearing that they're nothing like Donald Trump's MAGA movement, this flag is spotted today in front of Ottawa's House of Commons, moments after we officially concluded the fall session. See you in 6 weeks. Does he think that the Conservative Party hired a guy to stand outside of Parliament with a MAGA or Donald Trump 2024 flag? Does Mark Garretson seriously believe that? Because if he does, I'm worried for the mental health of Mark Garretson. He must wake up in the morning and he sees a couple of sesame seeds on his kitchen table, some suspicious sesame seeds, and he thinks this must mean something. That's a sign that the MAGA revolution is about to come to Canada, because there was a small grease stain on his kitchen that he definitely didn't leave there last night. And there's a few seeds over here and a half-eaten bagel that he definitely didn't eat half in the middle of the night. But this is solid evidence that not only is the MAGA movement coming to Canada, but someone's out to kill Mark Garretson. The guy is an absolute nutty conspiracy theorist, but the Liberals now get away with it because the legacy media doesn't cover the fact that these people legitimately just make stuff up. They just make stuff up. And part of it is, I think, malicious, that they're trying to make stuff up to smear the Conservatives. Also, I think they're just a little bit unhinged enough that they truly believe that there's like a far-right revolution that's going to happen if Pierre Poilievre becomes like the leader of Canada. But whatever. Mark Garretson also is the sweatiest man in Parliament, desperately running around trying to please Trudeau enough that maybe he gives Mark Garretson maybe a couple weeks of a cabinet role right before the Liberal government collapses. It's really all that Mark Garretson cares about, and hopefully he loses his seat in the next election. His dad, I believe, used to be the MP of that area or mayor. Mark then became the mayor. So he might have enough name recognition that he's hard to defeat, but I do hope the Conservatives spend the maximum amount of money in that riding as possible, because that guy is an absolute toxic force in Parliament, despite what he tries to claim about the Conservatives. Anyways, that should be it for me for this video. I have my legal fundraiser linked in the description below. It's a Give, Send, Go link. I'm fighting a billionaire in court. He's basically filed a frivolous lawsuit against myself at the National Telegraph. He has no evidence that we've defamed him in any way, but he's just trying to sue us just simply to try and drain us of funds. We literally have been able to prove every single thing that we said about him, and we didn't even say much. We just linked to a Globe and Mail article regarding his background. And I don't believe he ever sued the Globe and Mail for reporting on like a very long report about every sort of like little connection he had with a certain, nefarious force. But he's suing us because he didn't think that we could maybe pay to defend ourselves. But, joke's on him, I can. Other than that, I'm also running for the Calgary Signal Hill Conservative Party nomination. So if you live in West Calgary, check which riding you're in. If you live in Calgary Signal Hill, make sure to buy a membership and vote for me for the party nomination. We want real Conservatives representing the party in strong ridings like Calgary Signal Hill. So make sure that you get involved. Regardless of what riding you're in, make sure to buy a membership so that you can actually control who represents your riding. Other than that, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and throw me any ideas you have for more TruAnon Files videos. If you have any weird liberal conspiracy theories that are going on out there, DM them to me on X. I'm at Wyatt_Claypool, or send them to me on Facebook, wherever, or even just sort of link me or indicate things you want me to look into in the comments. That really helps me out to find new video topics. But other than that, hopefully everyone has a great day, and I'm about to go door knocking for my riding.